Ooh, trying to get set up here. Hey, everybody. It's um, welcome back. Um, I wanted to come on today and talk about, um, I wanted to start off by saying a couple videos back, one of my videos went up without sound. And at first, I thought, um, okay, we got a problem, a setback. But what stayed with me wasn't the tech issue in and of itself, it was how quickly my mind went into fix it mode. I do have notes. So if you see me looking down, that's what and while I have notes, um, just trying to get more comfortable having these conversations. You may or may not know, but just maybe a few videos back is when I started. So um, the conversations are honest, and the notes help me capture all of the thoughts that I want to um, leave on the table by the end of the video. So, um, so I have some bullet points here that I want to hit as I go through the video. So, like I said, initially I got to thinking, oh my gosh, we're gonna have a problem. So it's interesting how quickly my mind went into fix it mode. So I'm like, okay, just push through, just power through it. Um, and that's when it dawned on me. Um, at this stage of my life, I'm not interested in forcing anything. So just flow with it. Be intentional about what you want. You're not going to rush anything. And it occurred to me that for most of my life, forcing was the strategy. You know, you just make it work. You muscle through, and then you'll figure it out later. And that worked, I'd say, for a long time. Thankfully, and so far, even with that lifestyle, I've had no life changing health issues. Um, that approach, I'd say, had its place. It was sort of like my survival MO. It's my survival mode, a lifetime in survival mode. But it doesn't serve me anymore because I want more. Now I'm thinking of my life more holistically, more more round, um, less triangular shape, where I'm only striving in one aspect of life. I want my life to be filled with many goals. I want it to be filled with many desires in a healthy balance that allows me to succeed in many things, not just at work. So at 55, reinvention, at least for me, isn't about hustling into a new version of myself. Um, it's a slower reinvention, one that's filled with more passion, reinvention that just may get speed, not only from clarity, but also from my wisdom. For years, I've known what I desire, but as a Gen Xer, I think that's a Gen Xer, and in particular in my home where I grew up, we focused on the ability to take care of yourself. And that meant getting an education that would afford you the trajectory to be able to take care of yourself over a lifetime. So, reinvention at 55 also includes, I want to go back to that, to take care of yourself over a lifetime. So it was like, get you an education and get you a job that will help you take care of yourself for your entire life. Um, So, but now for reinvention for me at 55, it also includes doing this, putting myself out there. It means doing the things that I have a desire to do, setting goals around those things and committing to them in a space and time where I am at a place where I have fewer distractions. Um, so, what areas am I reinventing myself in? If I didn't say already, it's in fitness, it's in health, it's in modeling, which is something that I wanted to do as a young girl and something I still believe in doing for myself. So let's challenge ourselves to achieve desires of our hearts by setting goals and being consistent. And don't say what can't be done until you try and try many angles. So you might think that cannot work for you, but you may have a similar goal. So we'll see. I'm Minty Ray. Welcome. Um, and this space is about honest conversations about stress, health, reinvention, and what midlife actually feels like. Um, you know what I realized? A lot of us don't actually know how to choose anymore. We know how to handle things, but we don't know how to choose for ourselves. We know how to adjust ourselves to situations, how to fit into situations, but we don't know how to choose for ourselves. Um, we know how to make things work, but choosing, that's different. And for a long time, I had hoped that endurance would lead to satisfaction, but it didn't for me. I left a job after 30 plus years, and satisfaction, specifically joy, was elusive. I mean, I don't recall a day of loving that job. I thought if I could just push through long enough, clarity would meet me on the other side. But what actually met me was exhaustion. I get tired now just thinking of how exhausted I was. Um, Also, here's another part that we don't talk about enough. When you're the capable one, the dependable one, the one who keeps things moving, people assume you're fine. And eventually, I assumed it about myself too. Um, and you may be the same. I used to think stress was something you could think your way out of. Like, okay, this is annoying, but I'll handle it. But but stress doesn't disappear. It lands in the body, it lands in sleep, um, it lands in your patience or lack thereof. Um, and for women, particularly between the ages of, say, mid 35 to, I'd say, about 65, it shows, like I said, it also shows in our bodies, um, in particular because of our lower hormone levels. I talked a few videos ago, a few videos back, a few videos ago that um, hormone levels for women decline sharply um, once they decline, while for men they don't decline as sharply. While they decline for them, but they don't decline as quickly as how our hormones decline. The small things that we used to be able to tackle with ease become confusing. Um, they become evasive. They become evasive in a way that just it's kind of mind blowing. And no one prepares you for how quiet that shift can be. There's this subtle message women get in midlife that now is the time to be sensible, to be smaller, to be grateful, but quiet. Um, and I don't know who decided that. It's not a path that I'm choosing. Reinvention gets marketed like a makeover, new hair, new job, new personality. But that's not what this is. For me, and maybe for you, reinvention is about becoming a better version of myself. It's about finally listening to the version of me that's been whispering for years. Let's talk consistency for a second. Because people love to say, you just have to be disciplined. But because I see this as a beautiful journey, I see consistency as the other end of my desire. So, like a seesaw, they go hand in hand and together, the seesaw, together, desire, goals, consistency of desire, and the consistency of meeting your goals, um, of striving for your goals, can look like discipline. It looks like that to people who are looking in. Um, I don't want my goals to feel like punishment. So I first determine my desire so that my discipline doesn't feel like punishment. Um, Feels like the natural progression for achieving my goals. That's why so many of us start and stop, not because we're lazy, but because we haven't tapped into the desires of our heart. Um, and so when we do things, even when it's to meet our goals, it feels robotic. Um, and you can become void of the joy associated with the goals, with your own goals that you're trying to meet. I'm also choosing fitness, which for me isn't only about shrinking in size, it's about energy, it's about mood, it's about feeling like my body is on my side again. Um, and that's a huge relief when um, when you feel like your body won't betray you. Because as I have aged, time and again, I feel like, I mean, there's been times when I'm like, ugh, aching for no reason. I'm like, I didn't do anything but went to sleep, go to sleep, and wake up. I didn't do anything but sit down and, watch a television program. Um, but the more I find myself improving my fitness, um, the less I feel like my body will betray me. Um, um, and that feels like a huge relief. All right, let's talk about modeling because I know someone is thinking, really, really, yes, really. It's something I wanted to do when I was a girl. Period. I mean, that's just it. And somewhere along the way, I decided it was unrealistic or unnecessary or indulgent. Um, but here's what I know. Here's what I now know. Desire, it doesn't expire. Um, if anything, unfulfilled desire gets louder. It doesn't scream though. It hums and makes you numb. And if you ignore it long enough, that hum and that numbness, it will turn into sadness. Um, I realized something important. I haven't chosen in a long time. I've responded, I've adjusted, I've accommodated, but choosing my desires, that muscle got weak. So I'm rebuilding it. I'm not doing this to prove I still got it. Um, I know some people think that's where my heart is. Um, and even if after having these discussions, um, your takeaway is that I'm okay with it. So it's not about, you know, trying to prove that I got it. Um, I know I got it. This is about alignment. This is about my audacity, the audacity to trust myself again, the audacity to say, I'm allowed to want this. Even if I don't know exactly how it will turn out, um, it's about having desires, listening to them, and setting goals around them, and being consistent. And when people look at you, when you have your goals in that linear way, they'll think you're disciplined. So I'll ask you, what have you been postponing because it didn't seem practical? What desire keeps tapping you on the shoulder? You don't have to act on it today, but maybe listen to it. Listen to the desires of your heart and see what it opens up inside of you. See what focus it brings into your life. See what goals you'll realize that you want to set because you're listening to your desires. See what you can be consistent in because you owe yourself the audacity to have desires and to go after them. See how that eradicates boredom. Your day of at least starting to listen to yourself. It can start today. It can start right now. This space isn't about perfection. It's about honesty. It's about choosing. And it's about doing it on purpose. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.